Hey honey, welcome to my channel Design by Ida. My name is Theresa and I'm a professional fashion designer here to share all of my secrets with you. So you're wondering about how you can become a fashion designer. Well, I'm going to share that with you today, and also I'm going to share with you the skills you need to be able to work as a fashion designer. So I don't know you very well yet, so I don't know if you've always dreamt about becoming a fashion designer. Maybe you draw all the time, or maybe you cut out beautiful dresses from magazines and you put them together. I don't know. Maybe you love fabrics. Maybe you love draping fabrics and trying to imagine beautiful dresses. Or maybe you just really want to have your own brand, your own clothing line, but you don't really love drawing or working with fabrics. Either way, there are some skills you need in order to be working as a fashion designer. So how can you become a fashion designer? Well, there are 3 ways you can do this. Number 1, you can go to school, study fashion, get a BFA, prepare an amazing portfolio, apply for a job, and start working. That's what I did, and that's like the traditional way to becoming a fashion designer. Now, another way is if you know a really great designer that has the time and energy to teach you everything, that's amazing. Having like one-on-one time with an experienced, amazing designer, you can learn so much. And the 3rd way to do it is to teach yourself. Go to the library, get a bunch of books, read, practice, watch YouTube videos like this, and just really, try to teach yourself all the skills you need. It's possible. So either way, whether you go to school or you study from a designer or you take online courses and watch YouTube videos, either way, you're gonna have to practice. Because it's one thing knowing what to do, it's a whole nother thing to be able to master doing it. You need to put in the work, okay? It's not easy. And the more you practice, the better you get, like with everything else. So yeah. Okay, so what will you learn if you go to school? In school, you will learn how to draw. Drawing is like the basic, that's like the first class you take. So you will learn how to draw models, maybe live models. We had a lot of live models. And in the beginning, they start easy, right? So you start drawing maybe some objects or some models, and you have plenty of time, and you just sit there and draw and perfect your drawings. And then they speed it up, because then they want you to draw faster and get the pose down and get the shape and the model's like silhouette down quickly. And this is a skill you need to master, because when you're working as a fashion designer, you may be traveling, you may be walking by something, and you need to like be able to sketch your ideas down fast. And the sketch needs to be like somewhat understandable to other people. Okay, so let's say you want to do a beachwear collection and you go to the beach for inspiration. It would be good for you to have like a sketch pad and a pencil and practice drawing the different poses people have on the beach. So when you present your beach collection, all the models, all the croquis in your designs can have like beach poses. Maybe they're tanning, maybe they're playing volleyball, maybe they are like walking out into the water. I don't know, right? But it's a good skill to be able to sketch something fast and sketch it so it has like somewhat the right proportions and, getting the right poses down. Okay, so that's the number 1 thing you will learn. It's drawing, basic drawing. Okay, so 2nd thing is fabrics. If you're gonna work as a fashion designer, you really need to know something about fabrics. You don't have to know everything, but you have to know something. So what I would do, the best thing to do is to go to the fabric store and stay there for a long time and just walk around and touch the different fabrics and, notice how they feel, how they sound, how they stretch, and maybe even how they smell. I'm going to show you a burn test later on so you can tell if a fabric has natural fibers or synthetic fibers. We'll do that later. But anyways, knowing the fabrics is super important because if you're doing dresses, some fabrics will be excellent for making drapey long dresses that flow when you walk down the runway. And some fabrics are very sturdy, very hard, and they do not move beautifully. And if you have no idea how these fabrics move, how they behave, how they stretch, how they work on the body, then you're not going to be very successful in fashion. So you need to know this. Also, you need to know the difference between synthetic fabrics and natural fabrics. So natural fibers are silk, cotton, cashmere, wool, hemp, bamboo, many choices here. And synthetic fabrics tend to be polyester, acrylic, things like that. Nylon. Okay. So I remember when I was in fashion school, we were really trained to love natural fibers. So our teachers would want to see wool, silk, cashmere, leather, like beautiful natural fibers. If we used words like polyester, they would not be very happy with us. They wanted the natural, the high-end, beautiful, natural fibers to be used. So this was a big change for me because after school, I started designing sportswear. Pretty much all sportswear is like polyester. So I had to forget about what the teacher said, and I had to learn how to love polyester and the qualities of polyester. And there is so much you will learn when you start working as a fashion designer. But what you can start with is learning how fabrics move, how they feel, how do they change when they are washed. Silk, for example, if you have like a beautiful silk satin or silk charmeuse and you throw it in the washing machine, yeah, it's not gonna look the same when it comes out. Also, if you do like shibori or you do some amazing great techniques on natural fibers and you wash them, then the effect is gone. But on synthetic fibers, it's gonna stay. So there's so much to learn about fabrics, and the best way to start is to go to the fabric store and start, pulling out a meter or two, and then just hold the fabric up, see how it moves, see if it drapes easily, see if it's very sturdy. Imagine what it would work as, on the body. Would it work as a blouse or a dress or a jacket or pants? Just try to get to know the fabrics. That was a lot about fabrics. Okay, and then you will learn color theory. And now you're thinking, what, color theory? Like red, blue, green? No. For a designer, colors are super important. If you design an amazing jacket and you present it in the wrong color, it's not gonna sell. But if you choose the right color, the perfect color for the season, the hottest green color that everybody wants, it's gonna sell like crazy. Colors affect us so much. They affect how we feel, they affect how we behave, and they are certainly something you need to know a lot about in order to succeed as a fashion designer. So, did you know that, in prison, the prisoners usually wear like orange jumpsuits? Did you know that violence went way down when they changed the color to pink? Because pink is a calming, more soothing color, but orange is more aggressive, more, it makes you alert, it gives you energy, it fires you up, it really does change you. So you try it, put on a pink jumpsuit and try to get angry. It's not so easy because pink is like a soothing, calming, happy color, right? So much to learn, honey. You need to study this. And in school, you will. And then in school, they will have you do many design projects. Maybe 10 to 20 design projects over the course of 4 years. And the design projects will hopefully, vary a lot. So maybe you will have to read a book and design something for the character of that book. Maybe you will have to visit a store and try to imagine designing something for that store. Or maybe you will design something for a different culture. So you will have to study that culture and try to design something that would be appealing to that culture. So many things you will have to do. And this is so great because it opens up your mind. It opens up your ability to think about many different situations and to design many different things. Because let's face it, when you work as a fashion designer, you're not just going to be designing the one thing over and over and over again. You're probably going to have like many different assignments, and you need to be versatile. You need to be able to design different things for different people. Okay? So, I'm just going to give you a tip right now. When you're in school, I want you to be a sponge. Okay? I want you to just absorb as much knowledge as possible. This is what I did when I went to school. I just listened to everything the professors told me, and I practiced and I practiced and I practiced, and I was just like taking in all this knowledge and doing my best to become the best fashion designer that I could possibly be. That was my goal. Like, learn as much as possible during these 4 years so I can be the best fashion designer that I can be. And that's a really good advice to you. So, moving on. In fashion school, you may learn how to do patterns, pattern making, how to do draping, how to do sewing, how to do knitting, how to do printing. We did all these things. In my fashion school, it was important to learn how to make everything that you designed. So if I were to design something knitted, I would learn how to knit it. And I would learn how to make prints with screen printing. And I would learn how to make patterns and drape and, create different shapes on the body. And all of these skills have become so valuable to me as a fashion designer. Not because I do this anymore, because I normally don't. It's mostly on my spare time when I want to be creative. But as a fashion designer, I normally sit and draw on the computer. And you may think, so why did you have to learn how to sew and knit and everything? Well, it helps me understand how a garment is put together so that I can design the seams in the right places and the right incisions where I want some more fullness or want it to be more narrow and fitted. And I can communicate with the producers so much easier because I know how the garments are made. So whether I'm talking to producers of woven garments or knitted garments, or I'm discussing how we should do a print, or how, I know how to make repeat patterns in Adobe Illustrator, right? Because I learned how to do, how to actually print on fabric, and I know how important it is that the repeat is exact, so you get a seamless, beautiful pattern on the fabric, right? So all these things you learn in school, but it's your job to practice, okay? So what do you not learn in school? Well, a lot of schools don't teach you how to draw in Adobe Illustrator. And that's super duper important. You need to know how to draw in Illustrator if you're gonna work as a fashion designer. So many designers that I have met will come in and have beautiful, amazing fashion illustrations where they have used pencils and watercolors and just, they're beautiful. They're pieces of art. But if they don't have the skills where they can sit on the computer and make flats and change the different colors and make seamless patterns, then they're not going to be hired, because we don't need someone to make beautiful illustrations. We need someone who can do the technical work and actually work as a fashion designer. So that's a skill you need to have. And I'm going to teach you more about that later. So a lot of schools don't teach you the product development process. So what actually happens? You have a design and you want to have it produced. So what do? How does it all work? Well, it works like this. You design something, and then you make a back and front technical drawing of the garment, and then you make a color story showing all the different color combinations for the garment. You make a spec for it, you make a measurement chart for it, you send it to the producer, they make a proto sample, usually a pretty ugly first sample, and then you comment on it, and then you have fittings to get the fit right, you have fit samples, and then you have sale samples that you can show to customers and receive orders, so you know which they want to have in their stores and you know which to produce. And then you will check colors of the fabrics, colors of the trimmings. You will choose every detail of the garment. You will choose what zipper, what button, what drawstring, what stopper, what lining, what edge inside the t-shirt you want, everything. So there's a whole lot of work, a whole lot of decisions to be made. And in this process, you as a fashion designer, you need to be decisive. And you cannot be like, oh, I like this one, I like this one, I don't know. You cannot be like that. You need to be decisive. You need to be clear and say, for this design, I want this lining, this button, this zipper, it's going to be like this, it's going to have an incision here, the hood is going to be this big, it's going to be like this. You need to be very clear in what you want so you can communicate clearly with the product developers and the producers, and everybody knows what you want, so the result is a success. If you're very much back and forth, it's going to be a nightmare to work with you. So do not do that. Be clear, be decisive, be persistent. Yeah. Okay. What else do they not teach you? They don't teach you all the words in school. They don't teach you like all the little things that the producers will write to you. So if you're sourcing producers for a new collection, you will be searching maybe on Alibaba and trying to find someone who can produce it for you. So your questions to them should be something like, what's your MOQ? What's your lead time? Things like this. So MOQ means minimum order quantity. This is very important because a lot of Chinese producers have high quantities, meaning if you're looking for someone to produce 50 t-shirts, it's going to be hard for you to find that in China. So maybe you will have to look for a producer in a different country. In China, normally you have to produce 1,000 per color per style. So that's the MOQ, minimum order quantity. There are so many other words you need to learn. I will talk more about that in another video. But basically the glossary, the way people communicate in the fashion industry, that's something that you don't often learn in school. But that's why I'm here. I'm here to teach you that. Okay. And then trend forecasting. Have you learned about how to spot trends? Have you learned about how everything going on around you is going to affect the trends coming in next year? Okay, so did you know that in tough times, we seek happy colors and fantasy? Did you know that? Oftentimes, out of a depression comes science fiction or fantasy movies with colorful, dreamy, just dream world fantasy characters and garments. And, it just, we need to have something that cheers us up, something that takes our focus away from the depressing reality that is around us. Okay? Fashion can do that. Fashion can really change your mood. You can be in a terrible mood, but if you see someone in an amazing, beautiful, colorful dress with just like the most beautiful florals, it can make you smile. It can make you happy. And that's what fashion tends to do when things are tough. Okay? So that's just one tip, but there is so much more to learn about trend spotting and how everything around us affects how we feel and what we look for in the garments and in the clothes that we buy next year. Okay? So, most schools don't teach you how to spec a garment. Now, do you know how to spec a garment? Really? I'm not talking about how wide the shoulder is going to be and how long the jacket's going to be. I'm talking about speccing it, really. Like defining every aspect of the jacket The main fabric is this, the lining fabric is this, the neckband is this, the zipper is this, the button is this. It's gonna have a logo here, it's gonna be embroidered and printed, it's gonna have this care label, this neck label, this hang tag. You know, specking the garment means defining every single aspect of the garment and presenting it beautifully to the producers so they know exactly what to do. It's a skill, and I'm gonna teach you. Just stay with me. I'll teach you how to do that, okay? And then measurement charts. Some schools teach you how to how to measure a model. At least we did when we were putting on a runway show. We had to measure the models and, make garments based on the model's measurements so the garments would fit. But the measurement chart is way bigger than that. It's like defining if you're making a jacket, you have to define every length and width of the entire jacket in every single size. So in size small, it is this wide, this long, this, everything. In size large, it is this, for every size. It's a skill, and I did not learn this in school. And in my first job as a fashion designer, I was in a van in China going from factory to factory, and I was handed a bunch of these measurement charts for me to grade. And I was sitting there like, okay, let's figure this out. Okay, so I just had to learn on the way and just figure it out. But it is so important because if you mess up on measurements, it can cost millions. Imagine if you have made a kids' wear collection. It's beautiful. You have chosen the right colors, the right fabrics, and the designs and the prints and everything. It's so cute. It's so, so, so nice. And then it hits the stores and people are like, oh, it's so cute, can't wait to try it on. And then they try it on the kids and they can't get the sweaters or the t-shirts or their shirts on because your neckline was too small. You lose millions. It is so important to get the measurements right. And kids have big heads, at least mine do. So these are some of the skills you need to know and you need to actually master if you're going to work as a fashion designer. Not just work as a fashion designer, succeed as a fashion designer. So I'm here to help you learn all these skills. And if there's something that you're struggling with right now, maybe something that you have questions about, talk to me. Comment below. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, come on, please do so. I'm going to share all my secrets with you. All I ask is that you subscribe and hit the bell. So until next time, see you and have a beautiful day. Bye.